Greetings and welcome to this week's edition of Super Chat Square Ups. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and as you know, I leave no Super Chat behind. Last Friday, we had a 7.5-hour live stream, and there were so many Super Chats I wasn't able to get to all of them. So now I am going to address them because that's the kind of overlord that I am. I just want to thank every one of you who contributed in this way. Let me tell you that these Super Chats keep our channel going, they keep us funded, and they enable us to do the good work that we do. I speak, of course, about myself and Harvey. Say hello, Harvey.
Hello, Harvey.
Haha, that's the oldest joke in the book.
It's still fresh to me.
All right, well, thank you, Harvey. And I want to thank everybody, seriously, who attends my live streams, who watches my videos, who watches my commercials. That makes a big difference on my channel. And all to the new subscribers and patrons here, I just want to say bless you and thank you for your support. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with it. First of all, I read this last time, but I'm going to read it one more time. Peter Shearer with a $100 Canadian Super Chat. Thank you very much, Peter. He says, just leaving a dog. This refers, of course, to the normies that I referenced earlier in the live stream, who probably look at Jon Snow walking away from Ghost as if he's just leaving a dog. What's the big deal? Well, it's a very big deal for any actual fans of Game of Thrones. And so, Peter Shearer points out the Mahabharata, the Indian end-of-the-world epic, ends with a man and his dog at the gates of heaven. Heaven won't take the dog, so the man refuses entry. Heaven relents and takes the dog. 3,000 years ago, writers were better than those of Game of Thrones. They sure as hell were, Peter. That is an absolutely beautiful example, and I must refamiliarize myself with the Mahabharata. I have not read this Indian end-of-the-world epic. I've glanced at it, and of course I am very familiar with a chunk of it, which forms the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of my favorite books of all time. So, Peter, thank you so much for that very learned comment. Manos Spondylis Gigas. Manos Spondylis Gigas with a $5 Super Chat. Hail, sir. Your name is a mouthful, but we attempt it. Manos Spondylis Gigas.
Manos Spondylis Gigas. I don't know why it's so hard for you, gringo.
I don't know either, but it is. Anyway, Manos, I will just call you Manos, says, hurry, Harvey, we need the cleansing.
I am doing the very best I can to convince Doomcock to let me the fuck out of here, but he still will not relent, even after the way the Game of Thrones has gone straight down the proverbial poop chute.
Well, the poop, no, it's the shitter. It's not, the poop chute is, never mind. Anyway, yes, we definitely need a cleansing, Manos, and, you know, I intend to do it. I intend to be the cleaner-upper-in-chief. I'm going to launch an invasion of the surface world, as those of you who have been with my channel know for some time. It will have giant robots, it will have giant insects, it will have an undead army that is being prepared by Mahaviz, my Minister of Undead Affairs. And we're also going to have some cool bat creatures.
Bat creatures, yeah, I've seen them, man.
Yeah, and also maybe some magma men, if I can enlist them to the cause. Ongoing negotiations with King Ugaluka are proceeding. And, you know, hell, maybe even some lizard men.
I hear that those lizard men rule the entire world.
Well, you mean not those at the center of the earth. You're talking about the four-dimensional lizard men that David Icke talks about that are shapeshifters. Basically, the Queen of England is one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think that's a load of crap, but, you know, what do I know? I think basically they did some kind of mind op, some covert op on David Icke and convinced him with hallucinogens or something that he saw somebody shapeshift in order to discredit him because a lot of his information is pretty good. Anyway, thank you, Manos, for that. Bells Nickel with a $5 super chat. He just goes ahead and pops that into the tip jar. He asks nothing. He just gives from the heart. Bell's Nickel, thank you so much. He didn't leave a comment, but nevertheless, my friend, a very, very valued contribution to the kitty.
Kitty? We don't have any cats.
Well, it's a manner of speaking, Harvey. Thank you, Bell's Nickel. Elliot Nelson with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Elliot, very much. And he says, Nerdrotic says this SJW phase is ending soon. What say you, future ruler of Earth? Do you foresee this ending soon? Or is this the new normal? Well, that's a very tough question, Elliot. Far be it from me to disagree with my learned colleague, Nerdrotic Channel, but I don't know. I'm not very optimistic, frankly. I know that these SJWs are a tiny but very vocal minority. The thing of it is, they have kind of a death grip, if you will, on social media. And so the end result of that, unfortunately, is that they are very loud. And they get a lot of attention when really they don't merit it. They're just basically on their asses on the couch all day, just tweeting out, and, you know, Instagramming this and periscoping that. And so they seem to have a much larger presence than they actually do. And yet they seem to have permeated the Hollywood mentality to the extent that Hollywood is now convinced that there is a gold in them SJW hills and they're not going to relent on this crap until we make it less profitable for them to do so. So that is really my aim, and it should be your aim. Elliot, we've got to go ahead and make it too costly to indulge in this crap. You know, there was a recent poll. I saw it. I can't remember the source, but basically it revealed that something like 80% of the actual public agrees with our side, that they would like to be free to speak their minds without worrying about offending people, and they were of the opinion that people are offended too easily. So really, if 80% or 75, 80% of the public feels that way on those questions, seems like we've already won, doesn't it? I mean, so there's only this illusion that we have not, based on these minority, vociferous minorities on, well, they're not even minorities. Basically, a vociferous minority on social media has cast the illusion that they are actually significant, and they are not. But as long as that illusion, that delusion persists in Hollywood, Hollywood is going to keep acting in this way. And I'm just not very optimistic at all that they're going to get this shit fixed. So, ending soon. Well, Elliot, you know, basically, I think it already has ended. But like a cockroach, if you cut the head off of a cockroach, it still scurries around for weeks because the head is the least important part, apparently. And in the same way, you know, this SJW movement is essentially a beheaded cockroach, but it's still running around, and I don't know when it's going to stop. I don't foresee it ending soon. But I also don't think that ultimately they will prevail. So I say that in a long-term sense, the SJW cause will crumble. But I disagree with Nerdrotic that it is going to end soon. I'm afraid not. I wish it would. Thank you, Elliot Nelson, very much for that super chat. Common Sense America with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Common Sense America. One of my Legionnaires, people. And he says, some whiskey money for my lord and use the change for Harvey's chocolate chip cookies.
And that is very nice. I have really been appreciating that Doomcock has been very sneaky and has been like lowering my containment field and tossing cookies in.
Yeah. Lowering your field and tossing my cookies, yes, in your dimension.
Is that supposed to be funny?
Well, it's never mind, dude. It basically tossing your cookies is a euphemism for puking.
So you think it's funny that you lower my containment field and you puke in my dimension? You clutter up my fucking dimension with puke?
No, I don't actually do that. No. It just sounded like I did that in your phrasing, but actually, no, I have not. But now that I know that you're so sensitive to it, I'll use that as a threat. I'll say, Harvey Cthulhu, if you don't behave, I'm gonna upchuck in your goddamn dimension.
I don't think I like that.
Then behave, goddammit. Thank you, Common Sense America. Miguel Olmo with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Miguel Olmo. Sir, you honor me. And he says, hello, my lord. I would like to say that they cut out the entire Dornish plot. Where is my dark store or the Dean family? Pretty pissed. Oh, yeah, the Dorne, Miguel, was basically reduced to a patio at a hotel somewhere in Spain, I believe it was.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they ever show of Dorne. Well, those dunes, but that could have been anywhere.
Yeah, basically that's it. They just basically had a beautiful patio area at a hotel, and that was the entirety of fucking Dorne. So it's no wonder. Oh yeah, they showed, I think, a dock somewhere, right? Where Sand Snake 1 kisses Cersei's daughter goodbye with the poison lipstick. God, what a bitch.
Yeah, a lot of assholes on that show.
Yeah, and on the writing staff too, apparently. Miguel, yeah, I couldn't even tell you because I haven't read the books, and the odds are I'm not going to read the books now, dude, because, it sucks show. I mean, first of all, there's two reasons I'm not going to read the book. A, the show has taken a dive, so if that is the plot of the books suck, okay? So that's one. Two is that George R.R. Martin hasn't written a new book in the series in 8 fucking years, not since 2011. So I'm not going to be an idiot and devote a whole bunch of time to reading his output when I have no guarantee whatsoever that he will ever finish it. Why the hell would I? So it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I don't recommend anybody start reading those books. Don't be like chasing another high or chasing a better version of Game of Thrones, looking for it in the books. Do not even start the books if you haven't until he finishes all of them, because I don't trust him anymore. I do not trust George R.R. Martin. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but it sure as hell doesn't seem to me like he's writing. So, there you go. Spike in Madness with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Madness, or may I call you Spike in? Spike in Madness says, listening to you at work is most enjoyable, almost criminal, but not yet. What was done to Ghost and Brienne has me barking mad. Tormund crying? WTF? Yeah. Listen, Ghost, I've already gone on at great lengths about how disgusted I was that Jon Snow would leave his good friend and loyal companion Ghost with Tormund and just walk away without even petting him, without telling him he's a good boy. I mean, dogs are very loyal. And when you just walk away from a dog and you don't actually, pet him and tell him he's a good boy, he's apt to think that he's done something wrong and feel rejected. And the idea of Ghost feeling rejected at this point breaks my heart worse than I think anything else in this fucking show. So that kills me. And as far as Brienne goes, her crying. Well, a lot of you guys have expressed annoyance at this. You have expressed that, how dare they turn Brienne into an emotional woman. She just gets laid, and then Jaime goes away, and all of a sudden she's the wronged woman, and she's hurt, and they basically belittled her and turned her into a cliche. I have to actually defend the show on this point. At least in my mind, the reason that Brienne is crying is not because, she's a woman and now he's leaving her. It's because he's going off to die. Jaime is going off to die, and she knows it. You know, he is surrendering all his progress. He is surrendering his honor. He is surrendering his newfound sense of chivalry, and he is relapsing into the horrible dysfunction of his relationship with Cersei. Now, that's bad enough, but look, he's riding into a battle that she's going to lose, and she has contracted out to have him killed. So it's not unreasonable to think that the minute he shows up, she's going to go ahead and kill him. So what the fuck is he doing? So yeah, that essentially is she knows that she's saying goodbye to him forever, that he's about to lose his life. And there's just a great sense of futility about that, and a terrible sense of wasted potential. And plus, I think that she has loved him for a long time. So to my mind, it was not as simple as, oh, my boyfriend's leaving me, and I'm crying because he slept with me, and now I'm dependent on him. She's crying because she's never going to see him again because he's going to die, basically. And to me, I think that's ample reason to cry. They've had quite a friendship for quite a while. So, but that is just my opinion. Now, as far as Tormund, well, yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. So, look, I'm not saying the show is any good. I'm just saying on that one point with Brienne, I don't think that it's quite as bad as people have been making out. Thank you, Spike in Madness. And again, I want to say thank you to Miguel Olmo for that super chat previously, just in case I forgot. I don't think I did, but it doesn't hurt to thank you twice, sir. El Berzidente, the dreaded and infamous El Berzidente himself, with a €10 super chat. Hail El Berzidente. And he says, I may or may not be wearing pants. That's a given. I assume that about all of you. I assume that about every damn one of you. I don't know what the hell you're doing out there. I can't see you, but I imagine that you may well not be wearing pants. And I don't want to think about what else you might be doing. So I'm not going to. But I am going to say, Hail El Berzidente, one of my legionnaires and treasured allies. El Berzidente is an awesome, awesome force for good in this crazy world. Also a force for carnage and rending. But in general, it's on the side of good. He's on our side, so we love having him in the lair, and we allow him to tote that machine gun too, because we know he's responsible, even though he's a bear. It seems crazy, but what can I say? That's how we roll at the center of the earth. Thank you, El Berzidente, Angel Angelus, or Angel Angelis, one or the other, with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Angel. And he says, holy crud, it's your birthday coming up soon? Well, happy birthday, my lord. Was going to get you a Sith holocorn, but all I got is an extra $5. Enjoy. Thank you, Angel Angelis, or Angel Angelus. I will absolutely use that to mitigate my losses during this couple of days of birthday indulgence that I have indulged in. And it is time to make another trip up to the center of the earth. Up to the surface from the center of the earth to hit up a liquor store. So I got to restock. The cupboard is bare. I need to get some more absinthe and also some bourbon. I'm out of bullet bourbon, and sometimes only bourbon will do. And also, I want to get some more scotch. I need a little bit of the Glenmorangie, which I've gotten very fond of. So I got some stuff to do. Got some work to do on the surface of the earth, retrieving booze. Thank you, Angel Angelus. Kronos DB with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Kronos DB, very much for that. And he says, what are the 5 Game of Thrones prequels about to be going? Excuse me. I read that in a dyslexic fashion. For our listeners out there who are, actually what it says is, what are the 5 Game of Thrones prequels going to be about?
Yeah, that was a weird jump, dude. You may be hitting the bottle too much lately.
I know, man. It's making me cockeyed, making me wall-eyed, like the great song goes by Southern Culture on the Skids. You ever hear that, Harvey?
No, I haven't heard that.
It's pretty good. Anyway, the 5 Game of Thrones prequels, or sequels. I know that there's Tormund and Ghost, which is set in the 70s, and he and Ghost are up north, and they solve crimes in a Trans Am. The other 4, I don't know. I think that there's one that goes back in time 1,000 years and shows more bullshit with the Night King that we know is anticlimactic and nothing happens. But maybe someday they might show us a fucking ice spider. I was promised ice spiders. I didn't get any goddamn ice spiders. What the fuck? I wanted some fucking ice spiders. Is that too much to ask? Ever since they talked to Bran about it, I was all jazzed about the fucking ice spiders. I didn't see one. It's bullshit. Said they were going through the streets and they were the size of hounds and killing people. Now that would have been something cool to see. And they'd be white and hairy, which would be really neat. But no, we had to go ahead and have a white horse for Arya, So we couldn't even pet Ghost goodbye. We couldn't have any ice hounds. We could have fucking a white horse for Arya named Calgon. Calgon, take me away. God, that sucked. Anyway, dude, the rest of them, it doesn't really matter because we're not going to watch, are we? At this point, we're not going to watch this shit. Hell no, we're not going to watch this shit. What are we, crazy? Good God. No way, dude. No way. Thank you very much for that super chat, sir. The Pie is a Lie with a $5 super chat. Thank you, The Pie is a Lie. And he says, best I can do for the birthday gift. Have you talked to anyone about YouTube's new join button? The quartering and others have them. Grats on 26,000 subscribers, my lord. Thank you very much, The Pie is a Lie, for this very kind of you birthday gift. And thanks for this YouTube's join button. I don't have any idea what the join button is. I just don't know. But I guess I ought to look into it. If the quartering and others have them, maybe I should have them. I know that on the gaming end of YouTube, they like had emojis that you could offer to your people. And John Tonette is a great artist as well as a great supporter of our channel, and he's drawn a bunch of really awesome Doomcock emojis, but I don't know how to get them to you guys. So that kind of sucks, but I doubt that. I don't know what the join button is. The Pie is a Lie. But I tell you what, I will investigate. Thank you for the tip, and thank you for the birthday gift. And all of you guys, thank you so much for contributing and for your patience waiting for the Super Chat square up. I have been very, very busy making all sorts of videos on this Game of Thrones subject. People are really, really angry about this, and I want to kind of explicate and express their anger and discuss the reasons for it, in case anyone out there is actually listening and may avoid these horrible, horrible mistakes in the future. Terrible, terrible, terrible fate for a great show. Once great, anyway. Thank you, The Pie is a Lie. Lion of the Morning with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, oh Lion of the Morning. And he says, I recommended the Culture series by Banks to you a bit ago, but I forgot to add, start with the player of games, not consider Phlebas. It's meh. Oh, all right. The Culture series by Banks, start with the player of games and not consider Phlebas. I've got it, Lion of the Morning. Thank you, sir, very much for the suggestion and for the caution. God knows, I hate it when you read a book and it just turns out to be meh. I mean, I got so much stuff to do. I've got so much weighing on my plate, on my back.
Weighing on your plate?
Yeah. Well, it's I got so much on my plate, but it's weighing on my back.
Is it a monkey?
Yes. So yeah, I appreciate that, because I tell you, if I'd have started this culture series and read, the first book and it was mad, then that would have been it basically for me for the series. So I appreciate that very much, Lion of the Morning. Thank you for the heads up and thank you for the recommendation. And sir, thank you for the super chat. It is much appreciated. Peter Davison, hail my Australian Legionnaire with a $5 super chat. Sir, you are always welcome here. And he says, my lord, I must leave you. Please remember your gift parcel. Yes, sir, Peter Davison. I have actually been on the lookout for it, and I've been tracking it. Went the other day up to the surface to retrieve my mail, and it was not there, alas. But we've already been in touch about this, so it's no surprise to you. But I am watching it, my friend, and I really appreciate the gift, whatever it is. You've got me intrigued, and I can't wait to find it. But in the meantime, I am still very much enjoying your gift of the Pidgin to English and French dictionary. It's just a great pleasure. If you guys have never looked at Pidgin English, as it's colloquially called, Pidgin, I believe is how it's spelled. It just speaking the lines sounds a lot like Beltalowda, which makes me happy. I love it. Beltalowda. God, I wish I could speak fluent Beltalowda, but it's involved. Thank you, Peter Davison. I will keep an eye out. The tad that shouldn't be. The tad that shouldn't be with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. That's a very hard to pronounce name, sir. The tad that shouldn't be. Boy, it's like I don't even know.
It's Oompa Loompian.
It's Oompa Loompian, Harvey?
Yeah. It's an Oompa Loompian word.
What does it mean?
I think it means muddy anvil.
Muddy anvil?
Yeah.
You're talking out your ass again.
I'm not entirely sure that I have one, so no.
All right. Well, anyway, that shouldn't be, I think, is kind of what it says. It says Game of Thrones Season 8 DVD box title, The Notpocalypse. Oh, yeah, The Notpocalypse. Perfect. Oh, yeah, it was almost an apocalypse, almost, but not quite. Not quite apocalypse. The Notpocalypse is basically the nothing burger of disaster movies, It is, nothing Damarung. Basically what it is a colossal disappointment, sir. Colossal goddamn disappointment. And, yeah, you know what? I would say if you come across a Game of Thrones Season 8 DVD box series, I would advise you to leave it on the shelf. I would advise you to walk on by, as the song goes. Do not purchase that thing. Do not even purchase it used. Do not invest any more of your money, attention, or hope or faith into Game of Thrones. It will invariably disappoint you and break your heart. So if you haven't, it's like smoking, guys. If you haven't started, don't. That's basically my advice for the books and for the show. And those of you who never watched it, you guys are absolutely spot on. Brilliant. Not like the rest of us suckers that actually believed that Benioff and Weiss knew what the hell they were doing and kept watching. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Thank you. That shouldn't be the tad that shouldn't be for your $2 super chat. The Rookie Critic. Hail, Rookie Critic, with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Rookie Critic, sir. And he says this one will be on the next super chat square up. Yes, sir. And here it is. You are absolutely correct. The Rookie Critic. Are you psychic? How did you know?
Probably because you announced it, dude.
I know, I'm just fucking with him. Thank you, Rookie Critic, for that $2 super chat. Thank you for being around. And I know that you have actually prepared something for me. I have not had a chance to look at it as of yet. I saw that you mentioned something today, so I will probably check that out after I finish up this Super Chat Square Up. Thank you, The Rookie Critic. You do great work, sir, and you are a great boon to the Fandom Menace. Ben Davis with a $10 Super Chat. Hail, Ben, and thank you, sir, for that very generous $10. And Ben says, I've always read you need 20% support to push a movement long term. What's the possibility that the Fandom Menace has or will have at least 20% of the potential box office for a boycott? Ben, earlier in the year, I would have said I don't feel very optimistic that we're actually going to have that much of an impact. I mean, how much have we actually permeated the national conversation? How much have we penetrated the subconscious of our culture? And I have to say I was greatly heartened indeed, Ben, when I was at the screening for Avengers Endgame and the Star Wars trailer came up and there was just silence, except for one idiot that went, all right, or something like that. And I am even more encouraged than ever by accounts from all over the country that people actually booed the Star Wars trailer, booed the damn thing. This fills me with optimism and joy. I have a strong feeling from the reaction to the trailer in theaters by geeks who were hyped as hell to see Endgame on opening day, people. On opening day, there was no love for the Star Wars Episode 9 trailer in those theaters, except one idiot. So that tells me 20% support to push the movement long term. I think maybe we've got it. I think maybe we've already got it. I think that finally, just the sheer fact that The Last Jedi sucked so bad has wounded the franchise deeply. So that now fans, even normies out there who were initially excited, just really don't care that much about Star Wars anymore. I think it's going to have a huge impact on their goddamn box office, and we need to go ahead and be as vocal as we can in our resistance to this garbage. We really do. We've got to stick to it. We've got to be loud, and we've got to take credit for the damn thing sinking. Perception is reality, people. So, I mean, even if they can't trace the numbers, when their box office is down maybe 30%, where it's basically a little bit better than Solo because, it is the final movie in the trilogy, but still underperforming radically from what they hoped, that may well bring about some changes at Lucasfilm. Either way, I always say it, without respect, we reject. We have got to shut our wallets to Lucasfilm and to Star Wars. We've got to boycott this thing. They have abused us far too long. It's time to pay them back by not paying them a goddamn thing. Thank you, Ben Davis. Tucker Skoglund with a $5 super chat. Hail, Tucker, and thank you, sir. And he says, correction, Richard Fox wrote the Ember War saga, not Scott Moon. The two collaborated on the spin-off series Terran Armored Corps and Strike Marines. Thank you, Tucker. It's a hallmark of a scholar and a gentleman that he can admit when he made an error. And earlier in our live stream from last Friday, you may have said something incorrect. Well, Doomcock even occasionally says something incorrect. However, when he does, it is naturally correct anyway, since I am the future ruler of Earth, and facts are malleable. At least when you have a giant robot army, then facts are very, very malleable. But Tucker, thank you for that correction. Thank you for owning up to it. And thank you for being a scholar, sir, and a gentleman. Extropian. I like that better. With a $10 super chat. The Extropian. Hail, sir. And he says, love your passion and commentary. Your 26,000 Dominions are well deserved. Thank you, Extropian. However, it is a bizarre circumstance that as of right now, I have 30,500 dominions. So hopefully they are as equally well-deserved as my 26,000 were. But yes, as of yesterday, I hit 30,000 subscribers. And I could not be more thrilled. I hit 30,000 subscribers. I hit 4,000 followers on Twitter. And it was my birthday. So those will be anniversaries that I will never forget. It was just a hell of a day, sir, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Extropian, and I appreciate your listening to my passion and commentary more than I can tell you. Thank you so much for subscribing, sir, and I hope I will see you again in the next live stream, or one down the road. Curious Truth with a $5 super chat. Hail, Curious Truth, and thank you, sir. And he says, Tolkien's ideas fleshed out before serving in World War I, according to himself when questioned. So Tolkien movie, mainly fiction with all the World War I connections? I would suspect so. I absolutely would not put a lot of faith in that Tolkien movie to be a faithful biopic, just in the way that they're trying to draw an analogy between his life and his friends, making his life basically like it mirrored Lord of the Rings. I really doubt that it did. I think it's probably spin. I think it's like an angle, a hook that the writers could use to try and frame the narrative. But as you know, or should know, a lot of these biopics that come out of Hollywood are wildly distorted. I don't put a lot of faith in them, sir. And I wouldn't urge any of you guys to take them too seriously. I think that they are largely fiction, dude. I think they're largely fiction. There will be a certain framework of truth, I'm sure. Now, I've not seen it. I don't really want to see it for that very reason. I just don't, unless I know that the filmmakers are, meticulous documentarians or of a documentarian bent, and they're going to take it seriously and really want to present the truth about Tolkien. I just don't want to see it. It's like that one Finding Mr. Banks or something. Where they were talking about it was a movie about making Mary Poppins and stuff. I don't know. I'm just not big on biopics. I prefer my fiction to be fictional as opposed to factual fictional bullshit and manipulation. It seems disrespectful to me, but like I said, I don't honestly know. But that's just my 2 cents and my best guess, Curious Truth. You asked and I answered. Take it with a grain of salt, though. Maybe read some reviews, see about if you think that that they're going to largely be accurate. I just don't know. It didn't feel right in the trailers to me. Tolkien didn't seem like he'd be that guy in the movie. It seemed a little too contemporary to me. I don't know. It didn't appeal to me, sir. But if you see it, let me know how it was. I'm just not that interested. Thank you, Curious Truth. Lee Champion, a $5 super chat, Australian. Thank you, my Australian friend. And Lee Champion asks, where did you learn to speak French? I learned to speak French from Pepe Le Pew cartoons. And I learned to speak French from Inspector Clouseau. In other words, I am not a very good French speaker. I am a terrible French speaker. And my French accent is outrageous and purely for comical effect. Oh, sacre bleu. Yes. I'm aware that it is cheesy and that is part of the joke. That is part of the joke, my friend. So, yeah. I took a little French in college at Miskatonic University, and I dropped out. It was like the goddamn French class was more work than all of my other classes combined, and I said, fuck this. I don't have time for this. Why am I knocking myself out to learn French in French class? Taking up more time than all the rest of my course load, so I dropped it. And to get out of the language requirement, I did a minor in philosophy. And unfortunately, it was Western philosophy, and I'm really more interested in Eastern philosophy, although I didn't know a damn thing about Eastern philosophy at the time, so I didn't know that at all. So there you go. Live and learn. Too late, but what the hell. Thank you, sir, for that super chat. Peter Shearer. Hail, Peter Shearer, with a $50 Canadian super chat. Sir, you are too kind to me. I thank you very much, Peter Shearer, for your invaluable support, my friend. And he says, strong women. Zorro's Black Whip, 1940s serial western. Barbara Sterling played the lead and slugged it out with the male bad guys in almost every episode. Well, Peter, you have basically given us more ammo for something that I think is very self-evident to those of us in the know. Essentially, there have always been strong women in Hollywood. There always have been. And, goddamn, look at Scarlett O'Hara, Gone with the Wind. I mean, she was a fiddle-dee-dee light airhead until, things really went bad, and then she really toughened up fast. Frontier women were very tough. They had to be to survive. And then, we've got Leia, we've got Sarah Connor, we've got Ellen Ripley, and we have Marion Ravenwood in Raiders, who was a real tough cookie, and all of them basically kept their femininity, and none of them were man-hating, horrible bitches from hell. You do not have to hate men to be a strong woman. And what is strength anyway? I made a video a while back decrying this idea that, perpetuated by idiots like Captain Marvel and Disney and all this shit. It basically says that a woman is only a strong woman if she kicks ass in a male way. So basically that is sexism, isn't it? Instead of taking women on their own terms, instead of saying women are strong in wisdom, women are strong in forbearance, in patience, and in endurance. Instead of that, they basically scuttle all of those incredibly important virtues that I would not put in any way secondary to masculine virtues like aggression, strength, stubbornness, etc. But they just say, hey, basically a woman is worthless unless she kicks ass. And that is accepting a male definition of virtue. And so really these SJW movies are inherently sexist and biased against women because it doesn't accept women on their own terms. It's basically painting a picture of what women should be that is really antithetical to what women are. And I find that disrespectful and I find it inaccurate. So, yeah, I basically, they are fighting hard to solve a problem that does not fucking exist. Women in film have always been strong. There have always been examples like that, and there always will be. But this current trend of showing women as basically men with boobs is not really doing women any favors at all. Thank you, Peter Shearer, sir. I've never seen Zorro's Black Whip, but I will check it out. Fantastic. So Barbara Sterling was Zorro? Or was she the whip? Orange whip, orange whip, orange whip, orange whips all around. Thank you, Peter Shearer. And I hope somebody got that Blues Brothers reference. Anthony Matta. Anthony Matta or Mata? You say Matta, I say Mata. Thank you, Anthony Matta, for this $1.99 super chat, sir. And he says, hail Doomcock and Harvey, stay angry.
And I say to you, Anthony Matta, hail Anthony Matta. Sir, I promise I will stay angry. How about you, Doomcock?
I also say, hail Anthony Matta. And yes, I goddamn will stay angry. Thank you, Anthony. Angela Jansons with a $10 super chat. Oh, thank you very much, Angela Jansons, for that. And she says, first live stream and super chat. Love your comments about what George R.R. Martin owes his fans. Brilliant. Isn't he still an executive producer on Game of Thrones? Honestly, I don't know, Angela. I heard that there was a falling out at some point earlier in the series, and I think George R.R. Martin basically walked away. I think he, from what I've heard, I think he objected to Benioff and Weiss having the sole created for television credit that they took on his work, essentially. And also, I heard that he basically, when they were negotiating, okay, this is a few seasons ago, how long were they going to go? How many seasons did they want? How many seasons were they asking for? Benioff and Weiss made it clear that they only wanted to get 7 seasons. And George R. R. Martin said, oh, Jesus Christ, I mean, you're going to need at least 10 to tell my story in any kind of way that makes sense. And he lost that battle. And so I think essentially at that point, he kind of checked out. So he may still have an executive producer credit. I don't know. But I know that his influence is minimal at this point, and his involvement is also quite minimal. But I want to thank you so much, Angela, for this honor of being your first super chat and for attending your first live stream with Doomcock. That is just a hell of a great honor for me. I am so sorry that I did not get to your super chat before we got off the air, but I pray and hope that you will see this super chat square up and hear me responding to you as well. And if not, then I hope that I will recall your name and go ahead and send you a shout out if you show up on my next one this coming Friday. Please say hello, and I want to read this out again for you live on the next live stream that you attend. So I'll try to make a note of that, Angela, and thank you so much. I'm very, very honored for you to grant me this. This was a wonderful expression of support, and it means a lot to me. Thank you, Angela, very much. Captain Spire with a $10 super chat. Hail, Captain Spire. Thank you, sir, for this contribution. And he says, I love movie soundtracks. They capture the emotion of the scene. Listening to the Night King's theme and loving it, you cannot help but feel the Night King is coming. But his demise was like scratching the record. Yep. He's like, whoop. Woke up this morning, got yourself an icicle. Yeah, it was terrible, dude. I tweeted out a picture recently of the Night King. Not the actual Night King, but a toy. Yeah, it was amazing. I took this picture. I was out kind of shopping around for stuff to buy myself on my birthday. And I saw the Night King hanging on a peg on the wall. And the light hitting him from above, it threw his eyes into shadow. And it basically looked very sad and forlorn. And I took that picture. And yeah, basically at this point, the poor Night King's theme is very much like the needle on a phonograph jumping the track. It's gone off the rails. The beautiful music that we were enjoying for these many years has been silenced. The winter is coming ominous slogan has been turned into a sad punchline. And it just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, Captain Spire. But, yep, I too have a great love of movie soundtracks. I collect them, as a matter of fact. I have quite a collection of them. I listen to them all the time, especially when I'm writing or when I'm thinking. And there's just nothing like them. So we share that in common, Captain Spire. And I want to thank you very, very much for the super chat. And yeah, I will go and actually give the Night King's theme a listen specifically. All of those scores to Game of Thrones are currently on Amazon Prime, the music service that they run. And I will go check that out specifically so that I can feel your loss as you do. It's just such a goddamn shame. We waited so long for winter to come, and I still am waiting to see my fucking giant ice spiders. Thank you, Captain Spire. And I would suggest to you, sir, if you have not heard them, 2 of my favorite film scores, Chinatown by Jerry Goldsmith, and, of course, Body Heat by John Barry. Track those down. You will love them. I will not steer you wrong, Captain Spire. You need to hear those soundtracks if you haven't. Crimson Glory 287 with a $20 Canadian Super Chat. Hail Crimson Glory 287. Much, much appreciate your generosity, my friend. And he says, as a writer, I do believe the ending must mesh together with the rest. Build up must have payoff. Otherwise, you end with a faulty product. Go ahead and believe otherwise, but options alone... Excuse me. He says, go ahead and believe otherwise, but opinions alone doesn't make a perfect product. I absolutely could not agree more. A narrative is not a random thing. Life is random. Art should not be. Part of the challenge of writing a screenplay or a script is to go ahead and impose structure upon the chaos. Now, the great artists, the greater the artist, the greater the writer, the more nuanced the sense of narrative, the harder it is to see the structure. You know, you may not actually perceive the structure because it's so light-handed, but it will be there. You cannot have a great screenplay, and by extension, you cannot have a great television show or film without structure. When you botch the structure, you've lost the thread of the show. So, Crimson Glory 287, you could not be more correct. Thank you, Crimson Glory 287. I agree entirely. As a writer, you've got to go ahead and lay down your narrative threads to have a payoff at the end. If not, then basically you do not have a tapestry anymore. You have a ball of narrative yarn. Spinning a yarn, not wadding up a yarn. There's a reason for that phrase. Thank you, Crimson Glory 287. Dreamer out there with two $10 super chats in a row. Thank you so much, Dreamer out there. Really appreciate your support, my friend. And he says, feel like the show screwed up Martin's writing. So much pressure to get right when he suddenly became a celeb. Worked on side projects because there wasn't as much pressure and probably more fun to do at the time. Well, Dreamer out there, yeah. I'm sure that went ahead and made things more difficult. But damn it, when you step up to the plate and you accept vast amounts of money from your fans to do what you do, you need to do what you do. You know, nobody is going to say, if somebody is, let's say, an accountant who is extremely talented, perhaps even say that he is a wizard at accounting, they're not going to go ahead and say when he shows up to work one day and says, you know what, I'm just not feeling it. Oh, okay, we don't want to rush you, Mr. Accountant. We don't want to rush you, wizard of accounting. Go ahead, take a day off, take 2 days off, take 3 days off. It doesn't work that way. In the real world, when you show up, you got to do your work. And just because writers and artists and painters are privileged to, in a sense, set their own hours and work on their own recognizance and so on, I still believe that creative people still owe their supporters and their fans something. And basically, I think that they owe them to do the best that they can. And in the case of something like Game of Thrones, where they have read thousands of pages and spent probably each, you know, upwards of between $80 and $100 for these books, they deserve an ending. They deserve not to wait 8 years for the next installment, and they've lost the thread. I mean, you cannot keep the thread of all this shit in your head on a narrative like that. If you have to wait 8 years to then pick it up, then you got to what? Go and reread the shit again? And then if the next book is also another 8 years, you got to read through the whole series again? I understand that the pressure increased on him when he became a celebrity. And I understand that he may have worked on side projects because there wasn't as much pressure, so they were more fun to do, but fuck him. It's not all about fun. It's about doing your goddamn job, and it's about living up to your obligations to your fans, to your audience, to the people who put food on your fucking table. I'm not yelling at you, dreamer out there. I'm yelling at George R.R. Martin. Because, God damn it, I just feel like a lot of people's trust and hopes have been abused, and I don't like that. You know, if I was paid as much as George R.R. Martin, I'd get off my ass and I'd go ahead and get those books out because you guys deserve it. Pisses me off. Thank God I never started reading those books. I will read them once the whole series is done. I've learned that much. Or listen, I've been a long-time comic book reader, and I can't tell you how many series like petered out and never published the final issue, leaving the story unfinished. After waiting months and months and months, and you've spent all this money, and you've been waiting, and nothing shows up. I mean, I do not like seeing that disappointment inflicted on people. I think it's a disgrace. But Dreamer out there also says, King's Landing got visually redesigned for Season 8. It isn't the same King's Landing we've seen for 8 years. Check online. There are comparisons. They did that with the Dothraki City 2 in Season 6. Holy shit. Well, I did not know that. I didn't notice that. Boy, what a pointless, worthless way to go. When you're going to redesign King's Landing? To what end? To what end? That seems insane. Why in God's name would they do that? I mean, it's going to cost money. And it's not like the old King's Landing wasn't perfectly fine, wasn't perfectly wonderful. What the hell were they doing? Well, I don't know. I will take a look at those comparisons. Guys, check it out. Go ahead and Google King's Landing comparisons and see what Dreamer out there is talking about. The only way that I could have any sympathy for that kind of shit is if they needed to redesign it fundamentally to accommodate an action sequence. Like, for instance, okay, we've got to have an alley running behind King's Landing, let's say, and we didn't put that in originally, so we got to go ahead and revise an alley back there. Or we've got this one particular tower that contains some kind of monster or something, and we didn't know that we needed a monster, so we popped in this special tower, subsequently. Well, I still think it's cheesy as hell. I think it's slapdash, and it indicates a lack of care on the parts of the producers, but if they needed to do it to accommodate some kind of script issue, I guess I could live with it, but this just seems stupid. What the hell are they drinking over there? I guess coffee. I guess that's the answer. Thank you, Dreamer out there. Miguel Olmo again with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Miguel. I appreciate you very much, sir. Appreciate that. And he says, my lord, I will recommend a fun fantasy series that follows thieves. The first book in the series is called The Lies of Lachlan Morrow. You have a ball reading this one. The Lies of Lachlan Morrow. That sounds good. I will check that out, Miguel Olmo. If you recommend it that highly, sounds like it's a lot of fun. I will check out some reviews. I will see if I can pick it up, and I will let you know what I thought. Thank you, Miguel Olmo, for that suggestion, for that super chat, and for guiding me to literature I have never heard of before. I really love reading. I wish I had more time to do it, damn it. The Thad, that shouldn't be, once again.
Yeah, that word for furry anvil.
Furry anvil?
Yeah, I'm just talking out my ass again. My hypothetical ass, which I may actually not have.
Yeah. Anyway, $5 super chat, that this shouldn't be, says, the problem with Arwen was that they removed Glorfindel and his balking of all 9 ring wraiths, one of the most powerful scenes in the book. Yeah, I liked Glorfindel. There's a lot missing from the Lord of the Rings trilogy in the movies. They went a different way. And I don't know. I think that the movies pretty much speak for themselves. I think that they did a hell of a job with Lord of the Rings. And, they're to be commended. I mean, I thought Game of Thrones was going to overtake Lord of the Rings. I thought it was actually going to, in the end, be better. I'm talking about the TV show and the movies, not the books. But that just has not materialized. Lord of the Rings still remains probably the singular, triumphant, and classic example in the fantasy genre. It's certainly not dethroned by Game of Thrones. That didn't happen. But yeah, there's a lot of pieces of those books that are lamentably omitted, shortened, truncated, combined. Yeah, well, that's Hollywood. Hooray for Hollywood. They screw up literary Hollywood. Thank you, the Tad that shouldn't be, for that super chat. Nay, 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 with 20 Danish kroner, I believe. Denmark kroner, DK, Dark Knight kroners. Maybe from Gotham kroners. 20 Gotham kroners from Nay, nay, nay. Thank you, nay, nay, nay. I appreciate that very much. And he says, a little something for another brother without a life. Well, I've got a life. I'm viable. I'm a viable human being. I've got a life, damn it. It's just, it's a subterranean life, and it's full of anger and rage and heavy drinking, but that's still a life. I have empty liquor bottles, therefore I am. That's one of Descartes' forgotten theorems. Proofs of existence. Well, smart as well. If I do not exist, then how come I have all these empty liquor bottles outside of my door, eh? You think that an imaginary person can drink that much? Ho ho, sacre bleu. I drink a lot. Therefore, I am. Thank you, sir. I have a life. It's just a somewhat dysfunctional and impaired one, but life exists. Thank you, my friend. Entertainment Hacker with a 200 yen super chat. Thank you, Entertainment Hacker, my friend. And he says, I'm going to send you something else this month. Entertainment Hacker, sir, you honor me. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to receiving it. I shall watch eagerly to see what it is. And I appreciate the other things that you've sent me, my friend. And I know, I still owe you what Star Wars means to me. I've got to make it happen. I've thought about it with increasing urgency the past few days. So, I can sense my spidey senses tingling that it is going to burst forth out of me sometime maybe in the next week. So we will see if the spidey sense is correct. Thank you, Entertainment Hacker, very much for your support, my friend. I will send that your way soon. Nicholas Smith with a $2 super chat, and he says, Dale Gribble?
And I say, hello, sir. I'm Dale Gribble. I am an abductee and a survivor of probing. I've seen UFOs. I know that G. Gordon Liddy was on one. He was abducted with me. He karate chopped the aliens. He jumped off. They still got him, though. Last I saw him, he was running through a cornfield, naked. The corn cob probe up his butt. And they didn't use butter. And they say Hitler lost the war. As if.
Dang it, Dale. Stop bringing up that conspiracy that the aliens have Hitler's brain in a jar on their UFOs.
Called UFO, Hank, not UFO. That's old-fashioned. That's old hat. Back to you, Chet.
All right. Well, that was a very strange interlude. A corn cob probe without butter. Oh, those heartless aliens. Thank you, Nicholas Smith. A little visit from Dale Gribble there. Orchnestra with a $5 super chat. Hail, Orchnestra. Thank you, sir, very much for this. One of my Legionnaires, in fact. And Orchnestra says, based on your reviews, I've bought my mother the first Expanse book for Mother's Day. She likes sci-fi and classic Who a lot, so it seemed a good pick. Yeah, I think it is a good pick, Orchnestra. It's actually quite a good book from what I understand. I've not read it. I own it. I've read into it some, and I see that it deviates a little bit from the show, but ultimately it's very much like the show, and it seems quite good so far. Now, I haven't read a lot of it, like I said, but I bet she's going to like it. You're a good son to bring your mother the finest in sci-fi literature, and I salute you, Orchnestra. I knew somehow that you'd be a good boy. All of my Legionnaires are good boys at heart, at least to their mothers. They may be wretched scum and villains to the rest of the world, but all of my boys love their moms. And that's the way it should be, even at the center of the earth. So happy Mother's Day belatedly to all of you out there who are mothers or motherfuckers, depending. And yeah, thank you all for doing all that you do. Mothering is a very, very hard job indeed. I aspire to rule the world, but I sure as hell would never, ever sign up to be a mother. Too hard a gig for me. Thank you, Orchestra. Carl Manvers, yet another of my wonderful Legionnaires and a friend of mine. Thank you, Carl, with a $5 New Zealand super chat. Appreciate it, sir. And he says, DC, just wanted to thank you for the stream and thank you for the love of Lord of the Rings. It warms my heart even after all this time. Thank you, Carl Manvers. I will say that I thought Fellowship of the Ring, the very first Lord of the Rings movie, was one of the best damn movies I've ever seen. And I tell you, when Boromir dies after his betrayal, you see his noble heart break at the temptation, and then the death of Boromir, just devastating to me. Devastating to me. And I think there is, sadly, I have to say, I think there is nothing in the whole trilogy that compares to the awesomeness of the Balrog. Fool of a Took. Damn, the Balrog is just one of the best damn effects I've ever seen in my life. In my whole life. The Balrog blows me the fuck away. And aside from that, that music that they play when Aragorn and Liv Tyler are in that museum, I guess, you know, with the broken sword and just that love theme is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life. So my thing, listen, if you want to watch Fellowship of the Ring, here's my recommendation. I recommend that you watch the original cut of the movie up until they get to Rivendell. Then eject the disc and put in the extended cut and watch it from that point forward. I do not like the stuff in the Shire on the extended cut. I think it's bogged down. I think it loses focus. I just really, really love the way that the original cut has it up until they get to Elrond. And then go ahead and flip the disc and watch the rest of it. And then watch the rest of it throughout the whole rest of the trilogy on the extended cuts. Man, those extended editions add a lot, and it's important. Explains a lot about Faramir and Boromir and their relationship to their dad and why Faramir is the way he is. Completely changes Faramir's character, guys. Completely. If you haven't seen the extended editions, you haven't really seen Lord of the Rings. I recommend them entirely. Except watch the original cut, like I said, up until you get to Elf Town. Thank you, Carl Manvers. Captain Yossarian. Hail, Captain Yossarian, with a $5 Canadian super chat. Hail to thee, Captain. And I love your name. I love Catch-22. Probably the funniest damn book I ever read. And Captain Yossarian says, that extended lightsaber fight between Darth and Obi-Wan is pretty impressive. Thanks for mentioning it. Oh, you're very welcome. It really is. It's extremely impressive. I think it's very well done. I just don't think it would actually fit very well in George Lucas's movie. It's stylistically incompatible. It doesn't really match Lucas's pace, camera work, or feel. But that said, it is incredibly impressive and dynamic. What fans were able to do with a modicum of love and a great deal of skill and very little money was mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So much better than anything in the Disney Star Wars films. Anything. I haven't seen a goddamn thing, not one thing, in all of those movies that was as good as that extended fight between Darth and Obi-Wan. Thank you, Captain Yossarian, for the super chat. And thank you for thanking me for mentioning it. It was my pleasure, though. Ian Morris with a $4.99 super chat. Hail to thee, Ian Morris. And he says, it's been a while since I found a channel or group of channels that I really enjoy. And I really enjoy these long streams. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Ian Morris. It is my intention to do so, sir. It is a great, great joy to be able to spend that much time with all of you guys. I mean, the time just flies. I can't imagine why or how that is. It's like a magical thing. It's like some kind of meeting of minds or communion. I don't know what. But there's not a whole lot in the world I can stand to do for 7.5 hours at a time without a break. But you guys are it. It's just, I don't know, man. I would have never believed I could actually do that before I did it. And it's all because of you guys. You just constantly keep me amused and amazed and entertained. And it's my pleasure and delight that you guys feel the same. Thank you, Ian Morris. Basil with a $5 Canadian super chat. Hail, Basil. And he says, what is Game of Thrones? Well, when the good guys are all killed and the baddies all win, you call it Game of Thrones. Yeah, pretty much, Basil. That's pretty much. When all the good guys are killed and the baddies all win, you call it nihilism, but you also call it Game of Thrones, and you also call it a colossal waste of fucking time. Now, look, I don't need good guys to win. I don't need to have my favorite character prevail or triumph. I mean, you can learn a lot from a tragic ending or a sad ending. I mean, look at not Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is a bad example. Look at Chinatown. You know, at the end of Chinatown, the main character loses and someone important to him dies, and he realizes that the universe is fucked, essentially. But it is such a great ending. It's one of my favorite endings of all time. It's not a happy ending, but it's a right ending. And really, that's all we ask, is that these fucking things be right. That they go ahead and see them through to the end. And have the narrative threads all make a tapestry that, sad or happy, is coherent and intact. That's really not so much to ask for, is it? Apparently, with Benioff and Weiss, though, it is. And oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I bet we can't wait for the Star Wars trilogy, can we? Knights of the Old Republic have never been so suck. I have absolutely no hopes for it now. The only question is, how bad will it suck? Watch this space, and I'll let you know. Thank you, Basil. The Skinny with a $2 super chat. Thank you, The Skinny. Appreciate you putting that tip into the tip jar. You guys, all of you, keep the channel going, and it means so much to me. I really appreciate it. The Skinny, thank you. Mrs. 1 2000. Mrs. 1 2000 with a 99-cent super chat. And again, neither The Skinny nor Mrs. 1 2000 has said anything. Just popping a little bit of money in my hat as I play on the street corner here, the virtual street corner. And I want to thank you both so much for pitching in. Same thing with Cass Hermoso. Cass Hermoso with a $29 PHP. Well, it's not PCP at least. PHP. Maybe persistent Hungarian persimmons. 29 persistent Hungarian persimmons. Thank you, Cass Hermoso. And again, Cass says absolutely nothing. Just pops that into the jar and moves off with a smile. Thank you so much, Cass. I really, really appreciate it. And we've got Marcus Jose. Marcus Jose with two $2 super chats. Two $2 super chats from my Legionnaire and friend Marcus Jose. Thank you, Marcus. And he says, late, sorry, but congrats on 25K and happy birthday. Thank you, Legionnaire. Appreciate that. It was a happy birthday. It was an amazing birthday. And it's not 25K now. It's actually over 30K. But things are moving quickly, and that's a good thing. So you were right at the time. Let's just say that. And Marcus Jose also says, I'm likely busy on the 15th, so I'm saying it now. Marcus, thank you so much my friend, for all your support at Xanadoom at the Center of the Earth on patreon.com/Doomcock, as well as in the chats and here with these super chats, brother. I really appreciate you. And then finally, we've got Bjorn with a 50 Swedish kroner super chat. Bjorn, sir, you are too kind. I appreciate that very much. And Bjorn says, Harvey, you don't want to push the button. Have a carrot. Happy birthday, Doomcock. Thank you, Bjorn, very, very much. I appreciate that. And Harvey, you want a carrot?
I don't know what a carrot is. So of course the answer is yes. Of course I want a goddamn carrot. What is it? You'll see, Doc. It's probably pretty clever, but I don't get it.
You will. You will. I'll show you some Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bugs Bunny, of course. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little jet-lagged.
Jet-lagged?
Yes, I don't have any jets, so I'm very lagging.
I guess that makes a kind of perverse sense in a way. All right, you guys, that wraps up this Super Chat Square Up. I believe we're on Volume 8. And I want to thank all of you for your patience. I want to thank all of you for your support and for these Super Chats. And I want to say that I'm doing a live stream Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And I hope to see as many of you as can make it there. So from all of us here at the Center of the Earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry and thank you.